as possible. All right, so 24-hour candle close. Yesterday we talked about that smaller, lower time frame channel, the empty space up above us, right? And now uh, we've gone and 1, 2, 3. We've pulled back to the area that we broke out from, and we're resting there. This puts us in I'm not going to call it a predicament, right? But a problem solving area where we have to see how price is responding. Now, I would have already expected you to bounce, but you have and are currently, as we speak, building a area of consolidation. Moving down to the 15-minute, it's this box right here and this floor that we're fighting for as we speak. So by the end of the day, if this is areas that we can reverse back over, I wouldn't stay short for long if we were able to cruise up to the previous open. Now, that being said, obviously a lot of us are looking to the downside. We did move down, and on this, we'll move back up to the hourly here. We are holding above that 566.44. 566.44 is, or 566.50. That is my next bearish signal. Closing, opening underneath that mark, I believe we move down and start taking advantage of some of this empty space here, right? Of course, in respect to the channel that we have been cruising in. That being said, as I got to step back out here, 24-hour candle, right? What have we gained? What have we lost? Well, we've lost the floor that we gapped up above after moving up, filling some of that empty space. So in order to be bullish, right, gapping up above that or above the 50% mark of this candle as of right now, or the body of this candle, could potentially turn this up. Now, you already have a lot of overhead. And when I zoom out, I was jokingly calling this Pride Rock. But I mean, it is, with all of the holes that it has underneath it, it is terribly difficult for me. Well, I'm not going to do anything about it, obviously, until I see what I like. But the closer that we get to closing to that floor, the more bearish I am for those empty space holes. Uh, yeah, that's what, yeah, holes in the chart basically right here under 560.50 to the gap fill at 558, and then the gap fill underneath you all the way to 553. So I'm doing well. How about yourself? So there is a lot of, potential catalyst to drive us down, and then looking at where those catalysts break us further, or what catalysts rather they drive us into. We have a 545.50 target, and of course, when we start making big moves, right? It's not these small, and this is true on almost every time frame. It's not these small, and this is a decent box, but it's not these small boxes that I'm really focused on. It's where the majority, or we see the most consolidation. So we have to start asking ourselves, if we do see this breakdown, if we're going to come back and retest 540. And that's a real possibility. You look at what we bounced off of, right? And that is a gap fill. So, 545 and then 540 are, straightforward. And that being said, I think that's not even the first place to trim, but or excuse me, the last place to trim. I think 537.50 and even down into that 535.50 are tangible targets as well. So that being said, um, tomorrow is Friday, right? Yep. Tomorrow is Friday. And after all of the up and down that we've seen this week, right, we do have to weigh the possibility of tomorrow trying. And, again, I'm looking at where we're closing in the empty space above us, trying to go sideways, right? So, again, the closer we close on this 540, 566.40, the more likely I will to be swinging something sort towards the 562.77 target underneath us, with obviously runners in place for that potential. There is a lower high that could have just been developed. One thing that I noticed about that is there's two wicks right here lined up pretty damn well. So again, we could be looking at a pretty nasty move to the downside. So I feel like having some money on the table right now isn't a terrible idea. If tomorrow opens up in range and we should, then that's going to end up being uh, a kill zone. So, oh god, damn appeal every day. What's up? Oh, this is actually a robe, the whole robe. All right, so that's the cues. Let's take a look at Spy. Spy had a little tumble here. I thought we might come down and retest, but we ended up going and touching that high, and reversing back through that empty space today, losing this floor. One of the and takeaway. Sometimes it's really, really good to just go look at what's horizontal, right? That 532.80, 532.72. That was the area that we broke out from. This was the area that we reclaimed, right? We had an old box kind of, and again, cost basis is never, we did wick up into that empty space, but cost basis doesn't, once it's been punched through, doesn't promise you anything. Today you lost a floor. You lost a previous ceiling, now floor. I mean, this is when you look at that, it's like, okay, well, buyers failed twice today. And it's definitely a lot more of a definitive close. Now, this bounce here at the end of the day, every single time you've bounced, we really haven't done much recovery. Now, because of the empty space above you, you could probably hedge yourself pretty easily and pretty cheaply, um, if you are deciding to swing down. But we have a gap fill, right, at 627. Uh, Real quick, pause. Tomorrow, if we are going to make a move, and again, it's going to be Friday, so we'll see. Option burn. This top could be retested before we keep moving down. So no one likes an old box. Pause. You're living the life, man. I think about that all the time. Very, very happy person. Happy with where I'm at. I don't like the way my hip feels though. All right. So Spy looks pretty yucky in terms of reversals at the moment. We've got that gap down below us, 627, a gap all the way down here, similar to the Qs at 620, 96, yeah, 621 basically. And then again, hedges, looking at the empty space above you, you have the 632.72 break that would lead you, and this is the worst case scenario. This is just you looking at the upside play. If we break back over, right, that 632.75, we're probably going to go retest 634. Um, so anyway, what? That one? Dude, I had honestly, I'm ignoring it. I'm ignoring it as much as possible. The other ETFs don't have that, and so you got to play ball. Um, and just again, when I look at when to go short, right? It's when buyers fail, and that's the story for today. Is buyers have failed. There's nothing else to really add to that. I'm going to hedge because of the conditions that we're in, right? I think we're in really volatile, possibly leading to, I mean, you look at SOXS, you look at some of these inverse ETFs, and they've got their empty space and they're pointing up. Uh, let me point something out really quickly too, because I'm not trying to drive anybody to do anything crazy, but when I look at things like SOXS, that's a move that's likely going to happen really quickly. Is that news, right? That's, I assume, typically there's going to be a catalyst. And if Friday is catalystless, which we don't have any data, um, then we're either running off of fear, or we're running that is led by a gap down underneath a floor, um, or we are liable to chop. But again, we'll look at this stuff in the morning. It's not stuff to worry about. If you are getting into a position, there's two good hedges: not giving a fuck because you have good risk, and then also buying the worst case scenario to the upside if that risk to reward is good. So, all right. Anyway, last one is IWM, and this one turned around and is at the floor. Right? We could the empty. This is actually to a T what we talked about going into this week. The empty space that was left up in that range, right? Because we did successfully move down, we did pull ourselves back up, right? So it's the same story, right? Why wouldn't we gone short here? Well, you pulled yourself up 50% of that can, and so why would I not go long here? Which, is probably a good question to ask yourself here. Um, and I guess there would be two things. Like, one, I could it could be a well, hold on, let me go to the 4 hour really quickly. It could be a reversal off of the floor. That's the only variable I see going to the other side of this, right? Your empty space is filled. You've pulled back to your floor. So this is either a breakdown, you're going to lose it, and you have a gap fill similar to the other ETFs. And I aim for the chunky volume, and that should be right here, right? And we're looking down around 211 to the upside, right? Because again, we're in a weird area, and that's okay. That's our box. That could lead us for a punch up and out. End of day, $2 drop on SPY. I mean, I hope so. Poppy, I'm not feeling well. What's wrong? A tummy ache? Hold on, I'm managing something really quick. Go ahead and start dropping your requests, guys. Okay. So that's a variable, right? Yesterday it wicked, it started sinking down and then immediately reversed, flipped up, and gapped up. So we have to look at, again, go look back at the ETFs. What's the worst case scenario? Here you can see it trying to make a second high. If it blows past that, what's there to stop you? What's there to stop you? There's no box. There's only a high. So the worst case scenario is Trump pumps that shit over the top at 576.25. And if you're somebody who's like, well, I don't know how I feel about this setup, because the candle closes, or it's not conclusive. Yes, buyers have failed as of right now. It seems like buyers are trying their hardest to actually pull themselves back up, and that can change things. That's what I was just talking about at the beginning. Um, but we'll see, because now what we have to think about, right, is does he change this 24-hour candle? Oh, yo, thanks for the hat and the mustache, J Dan. Appreciate it. Dalmer bro, can you please make a monthly option for your Discord, please? Dalmer bro, please. What am I supposed to say to shit like that? You know? All right, so that's enough, right? Deliberating here. We'll make a decision closer to the end of the day if you don't already have one. Um, Obviously, right now it's trying to go and regain. It's very simple, right? No need to overcomplicate it. Tomorrow, it'll be right around that 567.80, that median price there that this thing could likely move back up. One thing that really intrigues me about what happened today is that you did not leave any empty space behind. So, yeah. And in terms of the monthly option, man, I can't do it. I What are you gonna get out of a month? What if that month is, in range? Trump the four, careful with swings. So if you're speculative and you're looking both ways and you got some hedges to the upside or your downside hedges, cool. As long as you're using good risk and you're okay with, because yeah, he's probably, liable to likely move it. But all right, let's move on. Microsoft to the downside, 24-hour time frame, you have slammed into and filled up the empty space directly in front of you. So once you run into structure, right now it's your job to just to interpret or to look at how price and this is something we as we go through these charts, pay attention to what this is tech. Could we see Microsoft after this wide fluctuation in price build something like that and do something like this after retesting the volume that's directly underneath you? I mean, that's a long dated shit right there, but yes, it is possible. You are bouncing off of that. So I'm not somebody who's going to take a short at the top, right? Typically, that's not my jam. Um, yeah, yeah, too many will do it. Yeah, I will in just a second. What we're saying the other day that we could start to. What were you saying the other day that you can see if it's starting to skid down on the ETFs? Yeah, earnings. No, I have not. I'll run through them really quickly, or if you guys want to drop the ones that you think look good, and we'll look at them. Yeah, I can go through it. I'm gonna move as quickly as I can to do that. Do you include after hours candles? Yes. Extended hours, 24-hour candles, period, end of story. Okay. Oh, this is weird. That's pretty. All right. So yes, you are closing right up against it. So if you are taking a short, what's the worst case scenario? Obviously, you're going to probably be in a longer expiration if you're looking down because you have structure in front of you and above you is 528.70, right? As your floor. And what you could do is just call it what it is, which is a box, right? So 525 on the 4-hour time frame recovered over 531.75, and you might be looking back up on Microsoft. To the downside, it needs to be 512.25 to drive you any lower. All right, gonna try to keep this pushing as fast as possible. So Apple 24-hour candle close at cost basis, right? It has not lost any ground. If you're still long, the question would be what reason do I have to get out? If your contracts expire tomorrow, don't be a dork. But you are up against where you need to be. It is over 225.20. And that is, basically the next intraday target. Because if you open up a low cost basis, then there's no guarantee you'll rip past it. But if you can, you got empty space in the most recent price action and a gap to 238.64. All right. Amazon. So this one had a great move up today, retesting. I'm really glad that you guys were able to trim when you did, take profit when you did. Make sure to post those gains if you have any today too. That'd be cool. But and good job because you know most of you guys did this on your own. That being said, you are looking a little short right now. You have already. Why did we punch through that? No, we popped out of it. So, technically, yeah, the low 220.75, we're looking for I mean, we can't ignore the wicks at 220. But then, yeah, you do have empty space underneath you in the most recent price action to 218.50, possibly to 216. Now, if this is a channel like we've talked about, then I would be looking at that cost basis down. Um, let's look at the lower time frame here. So a lot of the times when you're in these problem solving scenarios, you're going to start looking on the 5 or lower time frame for little pockets of empty space. This will almost guarantee that at some point in the future, a lot of the times, more often than not, sooner, um, you'll see that empty space get filled. So I see a couple areas that look like they want to get um, refilled. So if you can, you know, right now it's not looking that great, but if you on a retest or if you were to wick down, bounce off a 220 and then come back up, there is a real possibility of possibly moving back up. Now, this looks like it would turn into, if you did wick down and pop back up, it looks like it would probably turn into a range, something like that, and that would just be interpreted as a bunch of 24-hour candles moving like this. So, all right. Yeah, today was definitely offered a really good take profit for that. So, Disney down. So second day in a row, right? That you've kind of held that box. Today, well, right now as we speak, actually, you are curling up. All, Lord have mercy. Good, Marcel? You are not. Um, but as of right now, you are bouncing literally, right? Like as we speak, and you're holding that wick at 112.23. This is the hourly time frame. The 2 hour time frame again has more empty space and a retest of 114 possible. I think there's two things I see here, right? A retest either here or up at the 114.85s because your floor is boxless, right? It's just one bounce. That would be relatively easy to move through. This, while it's not fully built yet, is likely the channel that you're going to be trading in. So if you're going to take this short, because of the lower time frame mess, you are going to be required to be on the lower time frame problem solving until maybe you can build something on a higher time frame. All right, I got to keep you pushing here. Uber 24-hour time frame. What are you looking at? Uber up. So definitely a decent candle close today after yesterday's earnings. You are closing directly up against 91.75. So the only real other resistance I see directly in front of you would be 92.80. Not like this is super pretty here, but then we would have to look at 93.50. I think at 93.50 at that point, if you can close green at it or above it, you should just look for the top at 97.65. So yeah, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I door dashed or Instacarted a fucking monitor to my house. It was worth it. Paid that dude $40 and I made a comment about how many deliveries he's made in 2 years, and then we talked for 45 minutes. And you tell him that you always double dash. I always get double dashed. Yeah, and then I kicked the fucking $1,000 monitor. All right. Let's see here. Uber. Each intraday curves up and outside open. It has been happening a lot, especially after these big leg down moves. So the same thing that I said yesterday, I gotta say today. What the fuck? What reason would you have to get out? You don't have one, right? You're green. You have a target right now or a push above 116, 31, and you're looking at a target of 122.68, right? There's an old box there, so maybe its old cost basis gives you maybe a little feet at 120, but yeah, decent rip today. ERs for today. Thursday. TTD, Rocket Lab, Soundhound. Thank you. I'm not going to break any of these down. I'm just going to, I'll run through these and see. TTD, obviously a gamble, empty space up above. Targeted the downside possibly of 77.20. I guess fuck around if you want to. I don't know. That one. Sound. I still feel like that's one wants to dump down to like 8.15. I already have sound on. I just bought it because it was cheap. SMR. That one looks like it wants to rip ass. Possibly. Not a good setup for me though. KTOS. It's funny. I just saw some dude talking about that on his Robin or Cash App. Can't do anything about that. XYZ is today? No way. Downside. Oh shit. Hold on. Are they jacked? They actually that happens more often than not, dude. You gotta buy those options like mad in advance. Holy shit! Yeah, they are jacked. 65. What do my target would only be at like 670. Those are fucking 145. No thanks. All right. Pinterest. Yeah, cool. Team. Sweet mother of God. They even move on earnings? Yeah, a little bit. Damn. Damn. Mm, damn. That's a tough one. Almost feel like this one could go to 145. The Daimler looks like it's whipping down. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna force that one. 2TWO. Its earnings are hit or miss. Weekly. I made 850 off the run earning play you mentioned. Shout out to Stelio, my guy. I'm glad you caught it though. Yeah, I saw somebody else say they caught a at 500% on ARHS. All right, yeah, all these look like hot down water for the most part. All right, so let's keep it moving. It's 3:36. We got plenty of time. Let's look at QS. Keep dropping your requests if you're on TikTok. Just keep spamming it. Damn, look at you, dude. Just fucking YNN. Oh, win. Just say that. That is earnings today. It's a new on earnings. No. Yep. Decent with the next day. 98.75 and 117. Easy, easy peasy. On the squeezy. There and there. Damn, it's dead slab center, isn't it? It's almost like it's built for the straddle. All right. We got CCL. I'm not telling you. Because then you're gonna take it based off of whether I'm taking it. Is it a good setup? All right. I like that attitude, man. Should I take it? You know what, Stelio? So you, I got I got $1,000 right now. Tell me where it's going, Stelio. Give me a Stelio. Give me a Stelio. Chill out. I saw it. Does it on the put side too? All right. So that's an easy. Nope. Uber down, Uber up. Did I do Uber? Uber weekly. I said I heard it. God damn it. Yeah. Yeah, bunch of I think I I mean, I think the obvious thing is 94.36, 3 weeks off of that mark, and then outside of 92.80 is where you get there, or when you get there. If you can close outside of it, then this thing looks like fucking shit though. Where's the empty space? You'd have to blow off the top. If you could do that, and that happens over 94, that's not bad. But all right, Starbucks up. Speed this up here. Ooh, 4 hour. All right, so a little bit of hot dog water here. I'm gonna focus on the most recent price action because this is just wild, but it is a real possibility for Starbucks to try to go and get it. You did leave a gap behind. You did have or do have a floor here. You have technically recovered that. Directly in the most recent price action, seems like candles are closing right around 92.80. So we're going to go ahead and safely assume that's probably our floor there. Step down to the 2 hour, that becomes the top of a range, right? And so right now you're going to need to surpass 91, 91 or 92. Candle close 2 hour outside of 92.75. I expect that to change though. However, um, when I go to the hourly. Okay, so that does in fact change, which means lower time frame and higher time frame don't correlate. So you have to use a different price on the lower time frames to get in. 92.13 is the median, but I cannot call that a box. So I think straightforward is, yeah, 93.40. You can get through this empty space. And I mean, shit, if that's enough to do that on the 24 hour, I'd happily join you on that. Um, because a break over that 93.11 we know has uh, great potential behind it. So, all right, woof, bark. He's not talking to us. What do you mean I'm not talking to you? You know, Dahmer hated his mom and wanted to offer. I know you're not reading chats. I am. I do Discord priority. Oh my god, what the guys? You're gonna give me a seizure. Are you trying to kill me, guys? Is that what you're doing? All right, box above, big ass range below. Tough to even really pin that as one either. And that's got you dead slap center in the middle of both of them, literally. So pick one. If you've got a gap up above the 631, it definitely has the consolidation to try and make a move. Underneath 462, we would be looking at 415. Just mention shekels and he will listen. That's fucking, that's actually diabolical. All right. Snow. All right. So the Great Short, right? What a fucking nightmare. That same floor. I mean, we on every higher time frame we pulled ourselves back up. Now there's empty space up above us, right? And I think this officially can be called, or might be able to be pinned as that channel right there. Now I'm not losing faith in the setup, but if you have a good expiration still, and basically what I'm focused on is a rejection right around 210 at worst, but 207.77. Snow, do your pants match your shirt? You want to know what's crazy? Is I almost put my Keith Haring sweats on. And yes, I do have Keith Haring matching. for no reason at all. 204.61 is that floor you have reclaimed. There is empty space. You can see why I'm like focused right around that top. 208.85. So yes, this isn't so much empty space that I'm really worried about. Um, but 208.65 for sure. Uh, Fubo. Trying to take them one at a time, man. Wow, Fubo got. They had earnings or have earnings tonight. I did we go? I think we went over this. This has okay little dumps and really more dumps, but tomorrow, okay. I Yeah, this is not something that really interests me. I think my box is off a little bit, but um, yeah, I mean maybe 305. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is not a chart that screams clarity for me. There would, in my opinion, with Fubo, I'm looking out here. I'm zoomed out, and it needs some major catalyst, right? And you've got the build to do it. You've got a monthly box starting in July of 2022, and you're up against that box now, but you can see you're right up against it, right? So, and fuck, on the weekly, you got a gap down. I mean, part of me feels like, this could even be something that if 3030 is lost, maybe you start looking down again, probably for new lows. All right. What the hell was that? Marzell, will you fucking mute him? Ivy. My Ivy drone strike. It's already too late. You're doing stocks. That's the second. That's all right, dude. Now we're doing $50 a video. What was that? Yeah. Just trip downside earnings. Oh, Ivy. Oh, Ivy's first play is an earnings play. 1355. Yeah. All right. Yeah, 1355. Maybe 13 flat. And then, maybe a little hedgy action, because the empty space up above 2150 possibly, depending on how those contracts cost. Just fucking do it. All right. Bank of America. Financial institutions across America are crumbling. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. But the chart does look really bad in terms of being bullish right now. You tried, you failed, you tried, you failed. Oh boy. I tell you what, that floor right there, that's when you know we're dumpy. So, I mean, I can't lie. There's a shit bounce off the top. So you're aiming, excuse me, for cost basis, which is 44 flat. Straight up. Just got a break. What did I miss? Not much, my guy. Not much. Ivy's gonna be a millionaire. I was kidding. I don't want to get you amped up. I don't know how it's gonna go. I hope it goes crazy. It's not. She's in trip, right? Trip, trippity tripped. Is my mic? Yeah. No, Ivy, don't do it. They'll never stop. Expiration. All right. Ivy's got her big bat out. All right. DBX. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Maybe I get into. But it's only right. Good fucking God. What a chart. Oh my God. Yeah, but didn't we try many? Yeah. Earnings is tonight. Oh my God. Okay, so earnings, I think the last big one he had was here. This one was trash. This one is trash, trash, trash. Bam. I wonder if there's a cycle to that. I mean, part of me sees a move down to 24.35. Maybe big time 22 if that breaks down. Any call outs today? Oh Lord have mercy. SE up 24. You are holding onto your floor. You do have a metric ton of empty space underneath you. It's not going to be empty on the lower time frame. Okay, so I can confidently say 136 underneath you, and then to the upside, I don't know if that's going to be possible on earnings. I mean, SE can rip though. Does it, I don't know if it's going to rip. I think that could lead you, or rather, you would likely be targeting your weekly floor, which is 203, but halfway there should be 189, and so that would be more. I'd be more focused on that. So, by the way, if you guys are on TikTok, or yeah, if you're on TikTok, who in here is subscribed to the YouTube? If you're not, I'm doing a giveaway when we hit 15K and all sorts of shit. Someone said after I announced that they're like, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Me, Dada. Yeah, like and subscribe or something. Um, did I TTD? 10. Yeah, yeah, I did. I again, I see 95. You know, maybe something crazy happens. I think a couple of times we've seen some crazy earnings like that. This one took you up to your floor, and then now it's been kind of stagnant. So, I told people, I can understand why somebody would put something in this for sure. You're weak up against that resistance, but yeah, 111, 115. Um, Dropbox, SE, we did that one. Hood on what? Yeah, but that's on the weekly, isn't it? I'd have to go all the way out here to find an uptrend, which would be kind of tough. Yeah, that's a weird uptrend. Trump talking at 4 in my swinging ETFs. Let me just say this. In these conditions, I'm going to have money on the table for sure. Typically, I wait until last few moments of the day to try to see where price is wanting to settle. Now, Trump is going to come and fuck that all up, right? So, looking at the empty space, above and below. Subscribe because I no longer. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, like, subscribe, and set alerts on YouTube. There you go. Thank you. That's what you say. Multitasking. Our worst enemy is a flat day tomorrow. That's our worst enemy. Your name is Yummy PBS 123. Oh my God, Philo. What the fuck? All right, let's keep it pushing here. We got just a couple minutes. TM earnings tonight. I mean, on the weekly, that's a bad mess. I'm obviously tracking the channel here. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, it responds after earnings, way after earnings, after earnings. So I mean, it has a decent little downtrend. You know, you do have and have been holding um what you could just consider to be a month or excuse me, weekly range or at the floor of that range. So potential punch back over 65. I can't really say, I mean, not punch back, but bounce up maybe 74. I mean, downside, I see empty space down at 45. So those would be my two targets, but you know, it's not beautiful. All right. Shit. Frog has earnings tonight. Big dippy today. Really? Ooh, I put frog. The thong for frogs. Weekly. The upside looks cool. Eventually. Big dip down today, huh? So I'd say 35, 50, or if you go and like wick that in after hours and then flip, I mean, I see 48, 50. I think in time though, you know, you could be looking at that 59.70 to get retested. All right. Pepsi punching back. Okay, so there's got to be lower time frame. Okay, so yeah, I can see what you're saying here. For sure. Cost basis 144. Um, target one or breakout 146, and then in order to do what you're looking for it to do, I think 148.50 needs to be reclaimed, and that would be your next target beyond that this top. So I CCL. I've been looking at that one to the downside. We talked about that. That one's on the still on the watch list. I just haven't had any alerts or anything go off on this one. It doesn't have well, one thing it does have is quite a few rejections, a lot of pushes off of the top at $30. It's got empty space. Its floor is this ceiling. So yes, CCL is something I think that's worth considering. One thing that I do notice or take into consideration is you know, once this thing does take, you know, I'd say probably about 2 or 3 days of dumpage, it likes to the rip side not so much, right? That thing just goes, but it looks like about 3 to 2 days on average. Here you went over that average, but 3 days there. So I could see for sure pull back to around 26.85, 26.65, give or take. All right. Baba up. That one's tough, man. Uh, you know, F Baba because it just isn't super clear. It does have kind of like, you know, an inverse head and shoulders, so there's hope in that. But it's over 120, 320. I have a target of 130. I'm already up on trip. Ivy is swimming on my. Oh, yeah, hold on a second. Ivy, what strike do you have again for today or for tomorrow? Oh, week out. You didn't get you should get some weekly calls so you don't go one sided. Are you gonna get a weekly call? Damn, 15's for next week. Those are a little pricey, but earnings is today. Yeah, they are pricey. They're almost as expensive as today. What is it? That's because people are buying your calls since we said something. You
It keeps on fighting on under 1610.
Oh, yeah,
So that's the reason why I bought a hedge,
yeah, there you
just to
go.
be safe.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, good. Sorry, I didn't realize you guys couldn't hear them on TikTok. My bad.
Ivy, don't kick me out again, please.
Do it. All right. That still pulled itself back up. Yeah, SoundHound has
Yo,
earnings.
Amazon just ripped again.
Yeah, look at that.
Reclaiming floors.
Yeah, that empty space up there could definitely get reclaimed. Dollar General, yes sir. It's on its just doing its fucking thing. I am swinging the cues, yeah.
You don't like Spy better?
Um, I don't know. It's like a choice between dating two hot girls, but one's brunette and one's blonde. It's just different color hair that's gonna be stuck in your shower.
You like the brown one better, puppy?
All
All right, let's talk about hair in the shower, all right? Because that shit, I hate it.
He
I
don't
hate it
think
more than
Sydney
anything in the
Sweeney's
world.
hot, so
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney looks like her forehead melted her eyes in different directions. All right, anyway.
see. I mean, do you really
She's
want to
getting
take
a head
callouts from
start.
that?
Yeah, all right. That. Look at he's campaigning already. I can see it. Evildoer. Target. I like Target a lot, and I just want it over here. It has earnings
Next week.
Next week. So, anything I miss? TikTok. Shalala ding dong. Let's see here. I like the saying "Famalama ding dong." Dude, that's just fire. TTD crash 10%. No, I didn't. Oh, wee.
Holy.
Did you grab those hedges? Better fucking hedge when you go into earnings. I hope to God you did, because that could actually make you more money than whatever other.
Sick.
That was fire. 72. Look at the bounce.
Trip's trying to make a head start.
People will lose their fucking house over that because of how much those fucking contracts were.
Jesus Christ.
They're trying. It's 1 minute worth of movement, so hopefully when the
Damn.
Oh,
See
yeah.
that?
Ooh, look at
Yeah.
that.
That's technical as fuck.
They just gapped like crazy.
Are you guys swinging keys for the retest or for the drop back down?
For the money, dude, honestly, I want both. I'm more bearish than I am bullish, but I also understand the capabilities of Mr. Trump. And
Me
Would
and
it be
Star
better to
Thrump.
wait till tomorrow then if you want that bounce, that resistant
to go
play down?
to hit hard, yeah. Did I swing puts anyway? Yeah, of course. But I also grabbed. I'm looking at 575 as the area to go and break up towards tomorrow, and that's my upside target. So, it's Trips.
Got it.
What's Trippy doing? Yeah, look at the nasty retest though. You got a gap up there. No, I don't even know if they're numbers are out. Yeah, and if they don't move today, I would assume they move tomorrow. But this thing does move pretty good on earnings. Just give it. I don't. When's their call? The earnings call.
Let it marinate. Great question.
Had so many dead in the water earnings plays last week. I'm done with earnings for a while.
I'm gonna hold up my kitten on TikTok. Everybody, come look.
I'm gonna join your club.
Wasn't that wait? What was the last earnings you took, K? Didn't you just take KSS last?
No, it took DraftKings. It fucking killed off both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
same.
Apple.
Apple was a bitch. Apple was a bitch.
I mean,
Hey,
Apple
leave
ended
Apple alone.
up paying, so I'm not complaining now, but look how long it took.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Diddy?
Leave Apple alone.
How?
I love
yeah,
Apple now. We're back
Hey,
paying
pay my
things.
bills. Not like Tesla.
How old is this cat? This
Yeah,
cat's
What are you
probably
talking about? Look at that punchback on Tesla. Come on, bro.
This cat
Fuck Tesla.
is like 3 months old or something like that. 4 months old. It's a good kitty cat though. Oh yeah, good boy. See you later, dude. Look at this thing. Long specimen. There you go, buddy. Sorry. What is it doing? Damn! You got hedges, right? Who all has TTD? I pray to God you guys hedged.
Hey, again, on the Qs, how far down would you go? Would you go to like 562, or is that too far?
That's not too far.
Fuck, I forgot to hedge those sound house. I actually forgot I had them.
Cool. I have 4 cats. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. I'll see you guys in the morning if you're watching on YouTube.